Oh, hello everyone. I am here hopefully doing what's not the world's longest video, but we're going to talk about I think was it 12 books that I read in the month of February. February was a really, really strong reading month. I'm really happy with honestly everything that I read was a hit. So like looking at the list that I keep in the little templates on my phone. I really, really loved the books that I read in February. I feel like there's some underrated gems in here, some books by some of my all-time favorite authors. So it's like a good little mix. So let's just wrap this up and get right on into them. I'm actually just gonna go this time in the order that I read them. And the first book that I read was City of Salvation by Marie Maravilla. And I just realized I have the physical copy of this book right over here. This is book 3 in her Toxic Paradise series, and this book follows Nikki and why am I blanking on his name? Dex. There we go. Nikki and Dex. Nikki is a character that we've seen before. I can't remember if Dex has popped up in previous books in the series. There's 3 books out right now. First book is Skeletons of Society, then it's Syndicate of Sins, and then this one is City of Salvation. This one we have Nikki, who's kind of on the run from her past, and that darkness in her past gets brought up again, and she kind of needs some protection. So then we have Dex, who's in this motorcycle club, and he is just, even though he's, you know, like an enforcer in the motorcycle club and he's, you know, ready to touch her, and he is still just a softie for her. I just love the balance in this book of it being, you know, like a darker mafia book, but then also Nikki and Dex just having the cutest relationship. It's definitely friends to lovers. There's a little bit of fake dating. The spice in here is so, so good too. I mean, one thing about Marie is she writes the best spice. I have an interview with Marie up on my YouTube, and she chats all about her books and what she has coming up. And I love this book. I give it 5 stars. It was just so swoony, but again, it's a dark mafia book, so you get that mix of action and then a really great romance. Really, really fun characters as well. I actually can't wait for the audiobook for this one to come out because the first 2 books in the series do have audio. This I'm sure will get one eventually, and I actually really would love to re-listen to it on audio because I loved it that much. Then we have, I believe this one is called, yeah, Beautifully Broken Life by Catherine Cowles. This is book 2 in her, what is it called? Sutter Lake series. I always get this confused now with Kat Singleton's Sutton Mountain series, which is another book that we'll talk about later because the names are so similar. But this series I'm actually really enjoying. Of course, it's small town, romantic, suspense. This one is about a girl who also is running from her dark past. And again, darkness in her past is catching up with her. And then the new guy in town is actually introduced in book 1, and he's a musical artist. Like, he's like a tortured musician. He is famous, but he kind of escapes to this small town. It's their relationship. He obviously becomes like very protective over her. I don't know if she's the girl who owns the bakery or she works in like the bakery, but this book was really sweet. I thought it was very well paced. I like that Catherine's books for the most part are like pretty short, so they like fly by on audio. This whole series has the audiobooks available on Hoopla. I think also some of them are available with Audible Plus. But overall, I gave this book 4 stars. It was really solid. It's not my favorite Catherine book, but I did think it was fun. Then for a 5-star banger of a book, you know I was gonna love Serpentine Valentine by Gianna Darling. Come on now. It's Gianna Darling. It's a sapphic romance. It was setting itself up for success. I love this book so much. This is a dark academia tale of revenge that follows Lex and Luna. Lex is kind of a pariah on her campus, college campus, because she was assaulted by a teacher at the start of the book, and then some time has passed, you know, to get to present day. But just a trigger warning for that, this book does, again, it's a Medusa retelling, so again, heavy on themes of like assault and revenge. But after she is, you know, assaulted by a teacher, no one believes her. And then again, she just gets this reputation on campus for being something that she really isn't. And then it's her and like a group of girls who try to get revenge on campus and take down the like misbehaving people. And another way that she wants to get revenge on the, what is it? It's not a principal. It's in college. They don't have principals. What's it called? Like a headmaster? what's like a leader of a college called? I feel so dumb. I don't know. Just the leader of the college, the president of the college, maybe. I don't know. But basically, her daughter, the woman in charge's daughter, Lex is like, I'm gonna seduce her. But then turns out it's more than like an actual seduction. And you know what? We'll just leave it at that. Just know I loved this book so much. I thought it was flawless. Gianna's writing was so gorgeous. I loved this relationship. I started it physically, but then I actually was so nice and got an audiobook arc of it. Loved the audiobook as well. I mean, sapphic romances are some of my favorite books to read, and especially when it's written by one of my favorite authors. Just a win. Win, 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 win. One of my favorites of the month for sure. Then we have another Catherine Cowles book. We have Ashes of You. And yes, guess what? She is also on my YouTube. We did a interview when this book came out. And this is the last book in her Lost and Found series. This book is, I know her name is Hallie. What is his name? Is it like Nash? Jax? I don't know. I can't remember. I don't really care. But it is a single dad age gap romance. So that I very much cared about. I loved this book. The audiobook was so good. I listened to this whole series on audio. And I mean, I love an age gap forbidden romance. I love a single dad nanny. He has all boys. I thought the boys were really cute. I liked seeing Haley's relationship develop with them. I loved how protective our main guy was of her. And my favorite book in the Lost and Found series is actually, I think, the one that comes before this. It's the single mom book that's called Shadows of You, the one with the purple cover. That one I really just loved because that one has like a lot of animals in it and it's just so cute. But this one also very, very good. And the series overall is so solid. Like, not a single miss in the series. Like, I think if you binge from book one, Whispers of You, you'll just love them. You'll eat them up. I love Catherine. She's so wonderful. And if you haven't read her books yet and you like small town, you like romantic suspense, you must pick them up. For a novella that I read, well, actually listened to, because I did get an audiobook arc from the author. So thank you, Kayla, for giving me an ALC for Puck Shy. This is her spicy, like, Valentine's Day themed novella, but I will say it doesn't pull like very Valentine's, which is why I want to go back and read the book that comes before this one. I think it's called it's not Thoroughly Pucked. I'm sorry, all of these hockey names, they all sound the same. So I can't remember actually what book one is, but that book is like an MMF book. This book actually follows people who are related to the people from book one. So again, that's how they're connected, but you can read it as a standalone. And he's a hockey player. She actually meets him because they do have a night together at like an adult club that she works at, which I really love. Like, it was really hot. Like, you know, when you're wearing masks and then you just have a one night, casual, just like all of us have had. You just have one steamy night and you don't expect to see them again, but then they do run into each other, and then she starts again working for him because he's a famous like hockey player, and it was just really cute. I thought for being a novella, it was really well done. I thought the characters were well developed, and let me tell you, it was spicy. Oh yeah, this book is very spicy. This is not the first book I've read from Kayla. I read her cowboy romance, Rein Me In, and I really loved that book as well. And I think her books are underrated. I think her writing is really great. And again, if you want like smut, this is for you. Next up, I have my cute little special edition that I got of this book, but this is Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. I personally loved this book. I thought this book was so charming. When Tessa said, I'm gonna make golf sexy, I feel like she really did it. So this book follows Wells and Josephine, and Josephine, as you can tell, is Wells's biggest fan. And Wells is a super grumpy, bad boy, golfer. He doesn't have the best reputation. He's not the nicest. And Josephine is just like, wee! They have a really cute opposites attract relationship dynamic, but I really didn't think that Josephine was so aggressively sunshiny where you're just like, oh my God, she's annoying. I thought the balance in it was really great. So she ends up becoming his caddy for a, golf tournament that she really needs him to win so that she can get some of the money to save her parents' like pro shop. And there's that. And then he just becomes so caring for her. Like she has, I believe it's like diabetes, like type 1 diabetes. So he learns how he can help her. And it's just so sweet. Like this man really becomes like obsessed. Like it's a he falls first, he becomes obsessed with her. And it was just so fun and charming. I really loved it. I think out of all of Tessa Bailey's recent releases, this one and Unfortunately Yours are my two favorites. I just had the best time with this audiobook. I thought it was so freaking charming, and the spice is really good, and the spice starts sooner in this book than it does for other Tessa Bailey books, and that was really fun to see, and I just really loved it. And like thinking about this book now, like I just want to smile. I thought it was so cozy. Tessa's one of my favorite authors. Also an interview with Tessa on my YouTube, and she's just the best, and I love this. Tempting Promises by Corinne Michaels was a really fun enemies to lovers book. This is book 3 in her, I think it's called like Whitlock family series. This book really stuck out to me, and I was so happy that I ended up getting an audiobook of it from Corinne, was because it's double farmers. That's right. They're both farmers, and it's feuding farms, and again, it's enemies to lovers, and it also turns into like forced proximity, and also kind of like not survival, but they do end up kind of stranded in the woods. They find this like abandoned cabin after like a snowstorm, because they go in a cabin with all of their friends for a weekend, and then they are out on like a hike or something, and then whatever, they kind of get stranded for a little bit. So you do get forced proximity. They're not stranded for like too long. It's not like it's like Survivor. It's really for just like a little chunk in the book there. But it was really, really fun and very hot. The spice in this book was great as well. I haven't read the second book yet in the series, but they can be read as standalones. But I read the first one called Forbidden Hearts, which is the single dad book, and I really loved it. And Corinne Michaels is a really solid small town romance author. She's always an author that I say I'm going to read more from her backlist and we will get there eventually. But this book I really enjoyed. I think I gave it 4 stars. I realized I haven't been saying all of the ratings that I've been giving these books, but like go to my Goodreads. It's on my Goodreads, which is linked down below if you would like to know actual star ratings. But really looking at the list, every book that I read this month was a 4 or 5 star. There were no misses at all, which is great. Speaking of no misses, this woman, Cuby Tyler, she's not going to miss. She's never going to miss. Cuby Tyler she cannot miss. And Worst Kept Secret, which is her neighbor's best friend's dad book. Oh my God. The audiobook, so hot. Easy 5 stars. One of my favorite Cuby books. It was delicious. I mean, I love taboo relationships. We all know this. I love taboo books. I love heavy, forbidden age gap romances. That is my favorite kind of book to read. I sound like a broken record. And this was obviously an age gap romance. She's in college. He is, again, like her best friend's dad. He's like a retired football player, so he's like really hot, and there's just it was delicious. It was really delicious. Yeah, it was. The audiobook, I had to take a break listening to the audiobook because I thought it was so hot. Like Daddy Theo is a Cuby daddy. It's not my all-time favorite Cuby book. That's still gonna stay as Unconditional, but this was so good. Now that the audiobook is out, definitely recommend either reading it on Kindle or doing the audiobook. I need to read then next the like novella that is connected to this book. What's it called? The Season for some, I don't know. I don't remember what it's called. Season of Secrets or something, but that book is also connected to this. There's going to be another book, I think, in this world that follows these characters, and I'm very, very excited because this book was, it was just too good. I'm sweating thinking about it. I'm sweating. Next up, another person who I did interview on my YouTube. Last one, I swear, but you can go watch all of those interviews in the live section of my YouTube. But I listened to Tempt Our Fate by Kat Singleton. This is the second book in her Sutton Mountain series. So this is small town. It is girl who owns a bakery and then like a billionaire, which I love that dynamic. They don't start off on the best foot, so it is kind of enemies to lovers, but they can't deny their attraction for each other. I love Pippa. Pippa is introduced in book 1, Rewriter Story. She's the best friend of that girl, and even from book 1, it kind of teases this book and this relationship, and I was very much invested, and I love them. I'm a stan. I really, again, Pippa, she loves pink. She owns her bakery. She's just so cute. And this book, again, very hot. If it's a Kat Singleton book, it's going to be hot. I like the Small Town series a lot. I think the characters are fun. And I just think if you like spicy small town romances, you'll enjoy this. I mean, they like hook up in the bakery like after dark, and that was hot. Oh, and he takes care of her when she's sick. I can't remember what the main guy's name is in this book. Like, why am I drawing a blank? Why am I drawing a blank? Got to sneak in another monster romance, and this one is actually sapphic, and that was Hook Up to Holiday by, I believe it's Rose Santarello. This book is available on KU, and I will say, even though this is marketed, it looks like a holiday book. It looks like a Christmas book. It was not very Christmassy, which I loved, okay? I don't really like aggressively Christmas books. I don't know why. I just, they can have a touch of holiday in there, but if it's like too Christmassy, then I don't know. So this book I'm saying you can read anytime because there's just like a part where they go back to her family's, house for like Christmas, but overall it's not very Christmassy. So this book is actually forbidden because it's like she's a professor at the college, and then this person who she meets after they like have a night together at a bar and like this undeniable connection. She's also like ends up working in the same department, not as a professor, but as something else. This is the first book in a series. She just announced the second book, which is going to follow the main girl in this one, the little blonde girl, her sister. I think they're like pixies. They're not witches. I think they're like pixies. And then the main other girl is like kind of like an ogre type situation. And it was just really, this book was very hot. I don't know why I was shocked with how spicy this book is, maybe because I haven't read anything by the author, but it was again novella length, so it read really quickly, and I just thought it was so cute. I mean, I love sapphic romances, I love monster romances. I just think if you want like a cute and cozy novella, like this book was very cozy, which I loved. And again, definitely invested. I like Rose's writing a lot, so I can't wait for book 2. And yeah, if you want to switch up your reading, read something monster, read something sapphic, definitely go for Hook Up to Holiday. I just really loved their little connection, and it was hot. It was very hot. And the second to last book, I listened to an audio because the audiobook is finally out, but I do have a physical copy, and that is Home Run Proposal by Maren Moore. This book is a early 2000s rom-com in a book. I feel like there is no better way to describe it except for that. I think a clear influence with this book is the movie Never Been Kissed. So she is literally actually never been kissed, and then also she is inexperienced in the bedroom, and she was going to make a proposal for her male best friend, which is the main guy Lane, her brother. She was kind of like, oh, okay, maybe I'm just getting so not desperate, but she's like, I'm just really ready to take that next step and be intimate with a man, and who better to teach me than my male best friend. But turns out Lane sees the list and he's like, no, girl, I got you. I'll teach you. So it obviously turns into like dating lessons, sexy lessons. But Lane has actually had a crush on her the entire time. And Lane is just the cutest little nugget. There is a scene where the main girl is like, feeling a certain way because it's that time of the month. And he's like, oh, I did some research and like I got you like your favorite snacks and like all of that. And I was like, this book is just too cute for words. It really was so cute. It really had me smiling. The audiobook was well done. And then also, don't let the cover fool you. There was a lot of spice in here too. It was very spicy. This is not my first book from Maren, but I was just like, Maren, getting spicy. And I just thought it was so cute. I love the little pink vibes on the cover. And it was very cute. Like, I completely recommend this book. If it's on your radar, I think you'll have such a good time with it. And then bringing it back, the last book that I read, again for my Kat Singleton chat, was Pretty Rings and Broken Things. This is her newest book in her billionaire romance series. This book follows Archer and Winnie in a arranged marriage, kind of marriage deal situation. So Winnie has someone who she thought she trusted end up betraying her and threatening to release a adult video that he actually secretly took of them. And her family is so pissed. Like, her dad is like, how could you ruin our reputation? The only way to solve this is for you to marry Archer Moore, because they will obviously make sure that this does not get out. So there you go. So they have to get married, and Mr. Archer That's my Kat Singleton man of choice. I loved Winnie too. I thought they were such a cute pair. And I mean, Archer right off the bat just is like, take my money. He's like, we're getting married, but here, unlimited funds, have the dress of your dreams. And you know what? I really just appreciated that. I love the fake dating. I mean, I love Marriage of Convenience, you know, fake dating. Any book like that, I'm going to eat up. And this book was no exception. The spice was also very good. I mean, it's Kat Singleton. Like she literally has like 5 straight chapters of spice. It's a little bit of a slow burn relationship as well, but I thought the burn was really, really good. And again, Archer, just what a man. What a man, what a man, what a man. I'm very excited to see where the Billionaire series goes next. Kat talked about it in our live and like what character is getting the next book. And I think that's going to be really fun because I really like that character. I like how all of these books connect and like all of the tiebacks. These books definitely can be read as standalones, but really the characters are very intertwined in these books. So I do suggest reading them in order. Again, they all have audiobooks now, which is great. And Pretty Rings and Broken Things, like I said, is definitely my new favorite Kat book out of all of the Kat books that I read. I really love this one the most. So that was it. That was my reading wrap up of all 12 books that I read in February. Like I said, really solid reading month. I'm so happy with everything that I read / listened to. If you want to keep up with my reading in the moment, make sure to follow me on my socials below, especially like on Instagram and Goodreads. I do all of my reading updates on there. My TikTok, it's all down below. And if you like this video, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, share. It really means the world to me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!